So utilize this opportunity to ask questions, ask yourselves questions, and also to challenge, right? I mean, how do we learn something? We challenge the status quo. Otherwise, we don't learn anything. It just becomes a norm. So, objection handling. This is one of the parts of the selling process, right? The selling process constitutes of many, many factors, from prospecting to qualification to identification to presentation to then comes the objection handling, right? When you're presenting something, that's when people actually think, God, you know what, I've actually reached that point where I'm going to sign the paper. And that's when they have questions. That's when people want to clarify certain things. So who can tell me what's the definition of objection handling? What is objection handling? Or what is objection? So when you object to what Michael has to say,
you're against it, or you
disagreement,
questioning.
Correct, disagreement. So it's an expression of disagreement, or an expression to say, you know what, I have a different opinion. Yeah? So that is objection. And in sales, it's very important that we don't take objection as a negative. Take it as a positive, right? Because when someone has an objection, what are we trying to do? We're trying to elongate that conversation a little bit further, right? Because you're saying, I don't agree with you. So you're expecting the other person to make you believe a little bit more. So as a salesperson, you always have to take it in a positive way. Face objections. Because it's good, because that means that person on the other side actually is interested but has some clarifications that you need to clarify. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, everyone says, okay, objections. But what are they? How do they come? What are the forms of objections? Right? So there are various types of objections. Let's start with the first one. Hidden objections. What do you think I mean by that? What is the hidden objection? Anyone tell me? Just say whatever comes in your mind. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Remember, you've got to be open. Yeah? I want people to start thinking. And as I said, no answer is no.
Maybe the tone of the customer's voice.
So you might feel that they're objecting to something without specifically saying it.
Yeah,
The way they might sort of react to something.
Come to that. Okay, so I think you got the idea. Hidden objection is, they're not being very clear. Okay, they just, oh yeah, okay, Sean, you know what, like, they have something, but they're not telling you. They're not telling you, right? So which is why the term itself suggests it's a hidden objection. So what do you do then? When someone's actually hiding an objection, and they're not opening it, what do you do?
Question what it is if they have any objections.
Correct.
Probe them.
So instead of using that word, what question would you ask, right?
What?
What are your
What
concerns?
specific objection?
Right. So what causes you to think like that? What causes you to say that? So you want to open that person up, right? You don't want to just leave it like, okay, you know what, that person is not being very clear, move on. You can't move on. Remember, your ultimate goal is to close the sale. So how can you move on without actually understanding what's happening? So that's one type of objection. So hidden objections, you have to be more proactive, which means you have to take the first step and say, Mr. Customer, I believe there's something that you're unclear about. Can I understand what that is so that I can make it clearer for you? Keep probing him so that he or she comes out and tells you the answer. Yeah. The next one, which Nick just mentioned, it comes in a different category. It's called stalling objections. What does that mean to you?
What do they say? Like,
Okay, I'm actually going to start picking people. Stephen, what do you think stalling objection is?
They could be having second thoughts, or they haven't got the right information.
Good. Anyone else? Michael.
They just stop doing whatever they're doing. Like stop with, I guess, body language, talking. They kind of just go silent.
Maybe it's like a hidden objection.
Sorry?
I was saying they're not like confident in their decision. Like for instance, like with the pricing, they might be like, oh, I don't know if I can pay the $500 or not. So they'll just stall because they're not confident to commit to the actual like a deal or whatever else it is that they want to commit to.
Correct. Okay, so stalling is basically, you say, you know, I'll think about it. Let me talk to my wife about it, which is usually, you know, let me talk to my partner. Let me talk to my business partner. So they're stalling the whole process, right? Which is why it's called a stalling objections. How would you counter that?
Ask them to do an application now over the phone to get them pre-approved instead of them going away.
Do you think we're handling that objection quite well? Remember, the person is there saying, you know what, let me think about it, I need to ask my missus, I need to ask the business partner, right? So what,
Have the business partner call you. Have the business partner call you or call the business partner directly.
are we being proactive by saying, can you get them to call me?
No. I was saying, look, if you are not the decision maker or if you need to speak to your business partner, I'll be more than happy to explain what I just explained to your business partner or to your wife.
I get that. So one step before that, right? Remember,
You'll
if
ask
that
them
person
what
is
is
saying, you're on the right track, which is basically, what are some of the issues that you want to think about? You know, what are some of the concerns that you want to think about that you want, because he needs to be clear so that he or she can go to the next person, regardless if it's a business partner or a wife or whatever. Yeah? So ask the question, I mean, what is concerning you? What are some of the causes that, you know, making you feel that you need to speak to someone? Can I make it clear now so that you can actually give the right information? Don't leave objections go without being attended, yeah? What do you think the next type of objection would be? What do you get?
Commitment.
Any other?
Straight objection?
Okay, so it's
Correct.
basically called no need objections, right? This is basically the classic one. I don't need it now. Oh God, you know what, I'm not ready. Do you get that quite often? Do you? So what do you do then?
Provide a promotion?
Promo.
So that's the solution, we're entering the solution, right? And so some of the things usually people say, you know what, I'm happy with my current supplier, you know what, I'm happy with what I've got at the moment, I really don't need it, right? So that's a no need objection. So what would you ask in that?
Sense of urgency.
What else would you ask? When someone says, you know, I don't need it, I'm happy with Silver Chef.
With company.
When I look, don't think I'm expecting an answer.
Okay,
It's just-
I was
Just same thing, like why is it, like what's the reason?
Correct. Always understand, because you know what, we might learn something there, right? So always ask, Mr. Customer, if you don't mind me asking you, what is it that you love about Silver Chef? You know what, I love this. Then always counter that with another question, which is, can I ask you, I mean, if there was one thing that you don't like about Silver Chef, because I'm sure no one's perfect in this world, right? What is that one thing that you don't like about your relationship with Silver Chef? And they might say, oh, I don't like the process or whatever. So you're again probing to understand where you can actually get it, right? It's about trying to get that little bit of a gap. Okay, clear? Is everyone clear? I mean, see, I want to take it as a story, right? No use just jumping into handling objections and stand there and we all talk about, you know, let's fire these questions. You need to have that understanding in your head. What is an objection? When does it come? How can we counter it? What can we do about it? So that it creates a picture in your head. So tomorrow when you're talking to someone, whether it's face to face, whether it's over the phone, you know what? You have certain scenarios to work on. What do you think the next type of objection would be? It's a very common one.
Price?
Good. So that's called money objection. Yeah? You get that every day, don't you? You do. Your price is too high, your monthly payments are too high. What else do you get?
The Reserve Bank isn't stocking us up. Hey, yeah, and the new GST thing as well, like I said to you today. Because obviously you can write off so much now, thanks to the government.
Okay, so we'll use that as an example a little bit later, okay? So money objection, what do? Tell me some of the things, Anthony. Do you ever get money objection?
Oh yeah, yes.
So what do you do?
Tell them the benefits.
Good, right. So again, objection is good, right? There is an objection because the price is high. Then you're going to find out again. So what are we comparing now? Are we comparing, you're telling me that my price is high, but you're comparing with someone else to actually say that my price is higher. Who is that person? Now, what are they giving you for that price? Let's understand. 2, once they've demonstrated to you what the other person is giving, that's when you go into the solution mode, right? You're saying, okay, I totally understand. but the premium we asking you to pay is for blah, 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 blah. Everyone understands the benefits of what we can offer, yeah? What do you think the last type of objection is? It's called product. Can everyone read my handwriting?
Yes.
Product, and this way. Objection. So what do you think that is?
Like end-of-term options and stuff, questions.
Right, yeah?
Early termination.
So what do you do then? Matthew? So when someone says, you know what, I just don't like the product, you know, you're telling me that I need to pay fair market value. What is fair market value? What do you mean? Can you tell me exactly what it's going to be today?
So I would say it's a negotiable figure.
And how do you explain to them so that they don't feel, oh God, this guy's not being clear here?
I would say we're open to negotiation. We're happy to take on board what you reckon it's worth at the end. There's no set price, so it's a negotiable figure.
So one step before we actually go into that part, remember, they're not angry at you. Okay, so you don't have to feel bad about it. They're angry at the product, or they're dissatisfied about the product that you've just offered. So don't feel hurt if someone says, I don't like this product. It's not you. Always don't take that as a criticism. So what you're going to do there is understand, empathize. See, it's easy for me to say these things. Probably I'm the last guy who would be empathizing with that person. Inside I'm going, what do you mean, you don't like flexi? You know, but then I tell you what, you got to do it. This is sales, right? It's all about acting sometimes. I hope this is not going some flexi.
On the internet.
Just Lie by Steve Skin.
Okay, so guys, imagine, don't feel that you're being targeted. You're just a messenger, right? But we need to understand. Again, you're right, Matthew. Let's get into some of the benefits. Let's talk about it. Let's ask them what they don't understand about the product. How can we do it better? Okay? Remember, that's all you have. You've got an operating lease and a finance lease. You know the benefits of it. It's not like, okay, you know what, let me take you and give you another rocket launch or whatever. Nothing's going to happen. So be good at what you have and say it properly. Now, so this is objection. These are the types of objections. Now we need to understand how do we, as human beings, as salespeople, how do we counter these objections, or how do we react when someone actually objects, right? And this is a very psychological way of doing it. Right. Feel. Right? What do you think I mean by feel?
Feel the customer.
Right. Well done. What do you say?
Oh yeah, I was just saying, same thing, empathise, feel the customer's needs.
That's it. You've got to empathize with the customer. Okay, when they have an objection, make sure that you make it clear to the customer to say, you know what, I understand Mr. Customer. You know what, I know exactly what you feel. So that way you're actually getting their buy-in. Right? If you say, you're wrong, Shintaro, you're wrong, what happens is, Shintaro is just going to go, it's hit his ego, right? And he's going, bloody hell, I'm not going with Flexi anymore. I don't want this person because he doesn't even understand what I'm trying to say. Empathize. Because you know why? You're actually getting the buy-in again, which means you're opening up the customer, you're opening up the conversation. The customer is highly likely to actually exchange his views or her views. Okay, which is what you want, right? You want to get into the thing. So that's a feel mode. What is a felt mode?
Everybody else felt the same way.
Right?
Partial examples.
Don't talk your sausage in your mouth next.
Understanding their objection, understanding what their concerns.
Consequences maybe after you've spoken, felt, like how they felt about it.
Yeah, good.
What I was trying to say was that...
You should go a little bit more. Anyone else? Before Shintaro has his water?
It's milk.
Okay, now you can talk.
Okay.
Because others I'll say you have milk in your mouth.
Okay. So basically what I believe it to be is, look, I know how you feel, and also everybody else felt this way as well. You're not the first person to feel this. is felt.
Do you hear my last training?
No, that's what I learned in Total.
Good, good. See, door-to-door. I love door-to-door sales. Thing is this, felt. It's one thing to show empathy, but it's another thing to have this felt feeling. So basically, the felt feeling is what we're saying is this, Mr. Customer, you're not alone. I was just talking to John from so-and-so. It's exactly what he said. So I totally understand. I've dealt with this situation before. Again, you're putting yourself in the customer's shoe, so that person actually feels a little bit better now. You know what? They're not disagreeing with what I have to say. It could have been the worst objection ever, but you just got to say it, which is, I feel for you, and you know what? You're not alone. I've just dealt with another customer, or I had the same sort of a customer yesterday. And now we go into the next mode, which is called found. Right. Okay, so what do you think I mean by found? Wait 1 second, door knocker. Next.
You found a solution?
Good. Good. Okay. So here, we'll say one of these objections. You're feeling for the customer by saying, you know what, I understand the situation. Then you're saying, you know what, you're not alone. Lots of people had this, but this is how I'm going to help you. So you're finding a solution for the customer. You talk about the benefits, the solution. So you, remember, see how it's going, right? You have these objections, and you actually mentally, without even talking about anything major until here, you're just doing what a human being, even an animal could do. Just feeling, felt, just empathizing, understanding, agreeing, and then we become flexi employees. By saying, you know what, this happened, John did this, I totally agree with you, and by the way, this is what I did. Then you go into the benefits or solution selling mode. Does it make sense? Is it making sense? Is it putting some sort of, remember it needs to be an engine, a well-oiled engine, right? It has to flow. Otherwise you start stalling and the customer might get into the other mode, right? So you've got to be very clear there. Then there's another way. Okay, these are all techniques to help you overcome, face, and tackle objections. The other one is called L, R, Q, I, N, method. Okay? What do you think L stands for? What else?
Listen.
Listen, right? Very important, especially, I mean, right through the sales process, listening is important. Because you know what, you don't want to be there blabbering on, trying to sell something. Okay, you have to listen because we are actually going with the solution. So you need to understand and identify the needs of the customer. And to do that, you have to be listening. So even if they have an objection, listen, because otherwise you don't understand what the objection is all about. You won't know how to feel. You won't know how to actually come up with the solution. Making sense?
Yeah.
Can you see it from here?
Yeah, fine.
What do you think R is?
Rapport.
Respond.
Resolution.
Remember, put yourself, okay, this is how you will never forget. This is how I never forget. We talked about all these things. Now you're listening. Okay, now remember you want to come up with a solution which is mutually beneficial for the customer and yourself. So you're listening and then
Relate.
Relating.
Resolve.
React.
Okay, you're basically just reconfirming. Okay, because remember, otherwise you're actually giving an option for people to just blabber on and on. So you listen to the objection and then you say reconfirming. So Mr. Customer, from what I gather, I think making your wife understand the situation is the most important thing for you before you sign this document. Or talking about, I think it's important for me to make you understand why the price is too high. So you're reconfirming and that person goes, yes, and I also have another objection. Let's go through the whole thing again. Write it down. So he's got 1, he's got 2, or 1, 3, or whatever. Right? So you're actually restating or reconfirming. Yeah? What do you think Q is?
Questioning.
Questioning. Okay, so now you've listened, you reconfirmed what it is, now you're questioning. understand more about that thing. So who is the competition that that you're telling me that I'm more expensive than? Who is it that I need to be speaking to? What do you think, what is your current situation? Whatever, you've got a question, right, to actually come up with a solution. You've done the right things by listening, reconfirming, now you're questioning. Remember, and it's not about just questioning about how's the weather. You don't want to change the topic there. Listening? Good. Okay? You don't want to change the topic. You want to keep. You're right? Okay. Or are you looking for what I stands for on Google?
I'm tuning, yeah.
Okay.
You got me.
See, we haven't been, I wasn't born yesterday. Identify. Okay, anyway. Question. What do you think I stands for?
Identify. Implement.
I mean, it's all right, but I just want to make it very specific, and so that we have the right
Ideas.
Right?
Ideas.
Okay, think about it. You listen, you reconfirm, then you're questioning to understand something, right? You're basically isolating that problem or the objection.
Information.
The isolate, right? So you isolate that problem. So you know what? You listen to his, then you reconfirm, then you question to understand a little bit more, then you come up with an answer, which is, this is the issue. So let's isolate it, because if you just keep going away, you'll never come to a solution, because you're just going to be going on. So you want to isolate one problem at a time. Yeah? Price, isolate that. Let's talk about it. Let me clarify it so the person is clear. Next one, isolate, clarify, clear. See, clear does not mean no one's ever going to have a 100% success rate. Don't worry about that bit. Okay, that's part of the thing. What do you think A is for?
Answer.
Good. So, was it a steak that you just had?
I think so, yeah.
Answer. So what does answer mean in our context over here? You answer. Mr. Kazu, you isolated the problem, you listened to him, you reconfirmed, you questioned to understand what's happening, what the issue is, you isolated that issue, and now you're answering about it. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Can you see the flow? Yeah. The flow? Good. Now in this question, which is something I'm just not going to go through here, I want to send out something called a 5-question method, which is going to help you, yeah? Was it following the same thing before? Good. Okay, 5-question method. These are basically some of the very general type of questions you can actually use in any manner. Okay, some of them I think I'll put over here. In addition to that, is there any other reason for not going ahead? Most of the times, you've done all your bit over here, and then he goes, oh, I'm still not convinced or whatever. Or you still feel that there's a hidden objection, then you get the vibe of a hidden objection, right? So that's when you want to be asking a question. In addition to this, is there any other reason reason for not going ahead? Another type of right? I want everyone to look at a problem as a positive thing. That is, it is an opportunity. If you actually start looking at objection as an opportunity, we're on the right track. We're actually winning. But if you look at an objection as negative, something that's not going to help you close the sale, you're never going to win. Okay, so what do we have to look at objection as?
An opportunity.
Opportunity. And what do you have to look at an opportunity as? Right?
Positivity.
Future sale.
That's it. Sale. Remember, at the end of the day, we're salespeople. Final motive is to get that sale across the line. Okay?
I think I must say, Steve, that the fact that they've gone to the step of contacting us means that there's some reason to commit eventually anyway.
Correct.
So it's
So
not
which is
just
why
a cold
objection, take it in a positive way, they're just trying to clarify. They're trying to understand a little bit more. They just want to get some clarification on what's happening. That's it. That's how you need to face the objection. First thing I didn't say, whenever objections come, don't run away from it. Face it, handle it. If you just say, oh God, he's objecting, I'm going, no.
Don't transfer it.
Don't transfer it, don't put it down, don't say I'll put it back. Face it.
That's all.
Be a
Man.
Well, that's the woman then.
So I got pause now.
I will do this first.
Okay, now, just to reiterate this into a process, I want you to look at this. Encourage, empathize, okay? When someone's got an objection, you want to encourage the person to give you more information, find out more. You're empathizing while you're finding out. You're actually going to have the feel and felt, what do you call
Overlapping.
to understand this part, right? So that's a feel and felt modes. Then question, clarify, you're actually listening. Then you're reconfirming what happened. You want to clarify his problems. So you're questioning and then clarifying. Confirm your understanding. Keep checking with the customer. Am I being very clear? Like how I'm checking with you, which is, have I made myself clear? Does that answer your question? Is this what you wanted to know about it? Does this help you in talking to your business partner? Just confirm your understanding, okay? Because you probably know how to handle that objection because you sell flexi products. But we can't assume that the customer has understood the way you understand it. Clear?
Yep.
Next, address the problem or objection. So address it. Confirmed it, addressed it, check for agreement. Are we all good to go? Have I made myself clear? Some of the questions. Again, I want to send these questions out. Please remind me, Stewie, so that we can actually send this out and put it on the boards. Which is basically, does that answer your question? That clarifies the point. Do you agree? Remember, you're getting confirmation. That clarifies the point. Do you agree? Yes, no. No means let's start. What is it? How can I help? All the other bits and pieces. That's the answer you're looking for, isn't it, Mr. Customer? Yes, no, whatever. So you want to make it very clear, so when they sign, you don't have all these other calls coming back. Is that very clear?
Yes.
Now, you all had a chance to talk to each other. I know the time period was quite small, but yet, I'm going to choose Omar. What happened there? Who was a customer? Just tell the whole group what happened.
I was the customer, she was the agent. So I basically asked them the common objection about our rates, and asked just the common questions that we always face. What's our interest rate? So you follow the process of, well, he asked what's the objection, what's the concern.
Yep.
I said the rates, and then he went through it, explained the benefits.
Did you actually feel that he felt for you, and was there a sense of feeling?
There was, yeah, to an extent. Like, he was trying to obviously...
Where do you think he could have improved? What were you, remember, you're the customer. This is what I want people to understand, how customers feel.
Yeah.
So what do you think he could have asked you more
Well, I said,
that could have made you feel better?
I said to him, I said, I can get a better rate from the bank. Then he explained the advantages of maybe asking as in what type of rate were you getting from the bank? Like something like that, possibly, to ask me more questions. But then he did explain the benefits, obviously, of our products. Sort of explain that.
Which is what I meant, right? Here, we are pretty good over here. We know the solution, because we know the benefits, we know all these things. We just need to get a little bit better here. So that, remember, you want to take the customer through this journey so that they actually want to listen to this carefully and agree with you. So that's why we need to have the feel and the felt. Listen, question. Okay, so just show them empathy. I understand where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I understand your concern. Is it this, that? Then you're not alone, You feel for it and felt. And then when you go with the solution, people just think, I'm having to listen to this person because they actually understand my situation. They understood what I'm trying to say. And now he or she is giving me a solution. Okay, another example please. Who wants to take me through what happened?
Me too.
I mean,
Okay, yeah, I can. Well, Matthew and I both had a turn. I guess my objection with him as a customer was the price. And, I said to him, it's quite expensive and I wanted to get a lawnmower. And then he broke it down for me, explaining that, if you base it upon a weekly payment, even though we can't pay weekly, would you be able to afford that? Because I was running a business. And then I understood that if I wrote X amount of lawns per week, that I should be able to cover the cost. And yeah, he understood where I was coming from because a lot of people couldn't afford the lawnmower, but when you break it down weekly and, you sort of do the maths, it does work itself out. So yeah, it was good.
so you were happy as a customer?
I was happy, yeah. I felt that I was happy to go ahead with the product if I was going to get a lawnmower.
Good. I want you to be honest. Remember, that's how we can help each other. Okay? Just because it's your colleague and you're doing the role play with the colleague doesn't mean that, I want to make that person, I want to see him in 2 minutes outside. We don't think that way. I mean, we're all learning here, right? We're all learning. Anyone else who wants to go? Fast, we don't have too much time. Who wants to go?
So I was a customer, Jason was a flexi employee. Obviously with his wealth of experience here, he knows exactly what the product is inside out. My objection was very simply, I want to own that equipment at the end of the term. So basically I started off with saying, hey look, I know this is going to be a lease and I use Nisbets as an example.
So you're a customer?
I'm the customer. So I basically went to...
So what did he do right that you felt good about?
Yeah, okay, basically when I addressed the problem, he confirmed it to start. He didn't do the felt, but he did the feel for me. I know what you mean. And then he came up with all these solutions, different options available, and what the benefits are and whatnot. I came to an understanding of what the product itself is and how it's going to benefit me. So that's what I found with what Jason was telling me, and he was very approachable, as he is always.
Good. Everyone clear? Is it helping? That's the main thing. Remember when we invest 50 minutes to 60 minutes, or whatever it is, regardless if it's mowing your lawns, at least you know that the grass is going to be better. If it is cleaning the house, you know the house is going to look better. The same way, you've invested 60 minutes of your time. Have you gained something? Is there something in you that goes, you know what? Now have some understanding on how to handle certain stuff, whether it's mentally, whether it's knowledge-wise. Has everyone taken something out of this?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. Michael?
I was actually thinking about a call I had that would maybe sort of play.
Okay, so let's share that. Let's see if we can do something about it.
There was an example that James knows about. It's just an existing customer had plenty of contracts with us. I don't know how it happened, but he had a contract expiring May, one in August, one in September, and one that had already been terminated from October. So he traded up off one in January, the October one. I don't know how he missed the ones in the middle. And then he called up, he wanted to get some more equipment. He ended up getting approved, so it was fine, and he was going to trade up off the May one. So I started explaining, hey, we could do a multiple trade up if you want. You can get discounts on these other ones as well. So the benefit's right there, and he knows what we're trying to do. And I explained, well, but if you do that, then there's going to be some rental payments. You might have to carry that over, or you can pay it out. And he obviously, his objection was, oh, can't you do anything about those? And I'm like, all right, well, I'll see. You know, we still, at that point, I think I said we had to still wait for the senior credit officer to assess the app. But yeah, and I got some discounts from James, and I put it to him, and he just wasn't happy with it. So I think that what we were trying to do for him was really good, and I think he understood, but he wanted to push for more.
Mm-hmm. It's always going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know if we could have gone a different way, because I felt like with that one, I said, yeah, this is what we can do, and I know that we're not going to really want to do any more than that. And he only got just a normal discount. Would have had a carryover from the trade up in Jan, and I could see he just wants more and more and more. And basically I had to say, no, this is the best we can do. And at that point he was just going to go, obviously push it to the extreme and try and force me to do more by saying, oh, well, then I'm going to look at going through someone else. And I'm like, you know,
so
at what point do you sort of say, you know, you've got to say no. You know, you can't just keep discounting or waiving or something like that.
That's a very good question, right? I think it's a very...
You're not going to be able to please everyone.
Correct. You
and
can't please everyone.
I feel that with the existing customer, he knew what he was doing. And then if we do it again and he keeps coming, he's going to keep expecting the same sort of discount every single time. He's going to know that, so it's got to be the line you've got to draw.
Correct. So that's a very good question, right? Where do you stop? Where do you think that you can stop? And so just keep going round and round and round, and the person keeps saying, oh, so here the problem is discounting, isn't it? The person keeps asking for discounts to close the contract.
So yeah, if I said we could do discounts on these other trade-ups, and I said, well, you've got the rental payments remaining. Oh, can't you do something about those? I said, well, I'll see what we can do in regards to the discounts. Got the discounts, told him what it was. So you'd have this discount with this carryover, this is what's left over, but he wasn't happy with the amount. I said, well, we can't really go any more than that at this stage.
Anyone's got any suggestion here?
You could explain to him, if we don't go through the trade-off, what you're actually going to pay instead. So you give him the different scenarios.
Correct.
Inflict on the pain.
Again, so that's a good way to do it. Remember one thing, we are running a business here. It's not a charity organization, right? We can't keep discounting, we can't keep shaving price off, we can't do all of this. You've identified. This is not an objection. This is a greed, right? He doesn't have any objection with anything because he's a customer, he's happy with the payments, he just wants, where's he going to go? Nowhere, because he has to pay out. Okay, Mr. Customer, I'm happy. After all the stuff that you've done, and he keeps banging you on the head to say, I'm happy to do this, we can close the contracts here, your final payment is going to be X dollars. But do you know what? I was actually trying to help you here, Mr. Customer. Instead of making this lump sum payment for something that you've used for 3 years, you got onto the right product, why don't you just get a new product, and I'm happy to waive or, roll it over, you've got various options, right? Show them the benefits again. Right? That's all just, these are, what do you call them? Hagglers. People who ask for discounts all the time. That's it.
Sometimes there's only so much you can do for them.
Yeah, exactly. You can't please everyone. So you do your bit and then learn how to counter it. You can't please every single person who comes and asks for a discount. To me, discounting is not an objection. At the beginning of the contract, if they say price and stuff, it is a money objection. At the end, in that scenario, I won't call it a money objection. That is basically asking, it's greed. Just saying, I want more, I want less, whatever. Okay? Does it make sense? Okay, I think in that kind of situation, I want you to actually reiterate to the customer, in a normal scenario, this is what you're going to be ending up paying. But because you've been a loyal customer, I'm actually going to be doing this for you, which is give you brand new equipment worth $3,000 plus roll that over, whatever you do there. Yeah? Any other questions?
The most common objection we get is obviously with rates.
Okay.
A lot of the time, just like, yeah, I can find cheaper rates from my bank.
So that is a money objection, right? So what do we do there? Again, I can totally understand where you're coming from, which is, that's always going to be a big objection, right? So we need to be well prepared, right? We need to be prepared for that. If you tell me you get that all the time, it's my duty to do something about it. Can't just say, just feel, felt, found. Do use that thing. I'm not helping, am I? So let's go through that scenario. Price is too high. Okay. Now we need to, you've understood, listen to him. You said, okay, Mr. Customer, from what I gather, price is your biggest issue. The rental payments are your biggest issue. Is that correct? Yes, that's it. It becomes easier for us now. Don't have to worry about too many other things. Now, you've actually put the customer in the corner. Then you say, Mr. Customer, to help me understand better, and then see how I can help you, I need to gather some information from you. Are you ready to give me? Don't ask a question now. I need to gather some information from you. What is it? One. I mean, naturally, you've got some other quotes from somewhere. It's a bank. Yes. Do you want to tell me what arrangement that is? Is that a loan? And make it, see, you've got to be very clever here. Remember, salespeople, we have to be clever. Don't immediately start off with a home loan, a chattel mortgage, and all these kind of things. Just say, is that a personal loan? Because, suddenly, personal loan interest rates are much higher, right? As opposed to going, are you borrowing off your home, where it's going to be much lower, you're going to have trouble fighting, right? Is it a personal loan that you're taking or a business loan? Yeah, it is. Oh, then probably your interest rate, again, you can say it. So you're paying what, 12, 13% interest on it? They might say, yes, see, sometimes they could be lying. that they've got another bank thing, right? So you're putting them into the corner. Then, Mr. Customer, the main difference between a loan and our lease product is you go with the leasing, off balance sheet, tax, maybe tax deductible, maybe, always maybe, use all of those, right? And then make them understand, you're renting it from us, it's not on your balance sheet, which means you can actually go to the bank, borrow more money. So you've got to start playing the benefit statements. What is the benefits to you? Does that make sense? Okay. So understand, we need to be comparing apples with apples here. If they say it is a lease through Silver Chef, again, we've got a few things to fight there, right? How long is your term? 12 months. Mr. Customer, you're buying an oven. Do you actually think you want to pay, do you really want to pay off an oven in 12 months? What's the life of that oven? Silver Chef, Nisbet told me it's about 7 years. See, it's got a life of 7 years. Why would you want to pay it off in 1 year? When you have the option to pay it off in 5 years. Do you really want to actually have a commitment of paying $1,500 a month when you could do it at $250 a month? Help them understand the scenario. Because Silver Chef would have sold it to him by saying, buy it in 12 months, it's all yours. Now you are actually going and saying, why pay it off in 12 months? When you got the life of this oven to be 60 months, you can spread your monthly payments. You're going to be paying only $200 as opposed to $1,000. Helps you preserve $750 for other expenses, like your labor, marketing, purchase, all of that. Help them understand. Does that make sense? So with price, everything, we need to have something to go against. If the person says, I have no other competition in this game, how can price be an issue then? What are you talking about? Even if I say $1,000, you're not telling me what I'm comparing with, right? Ask them the question, take them to the benefits. If they say, I'm happy with the thing, think to yourself, why has this person come to Flexi then? There must be some reason, right? We never called him to come here. So when he's got an approval from the bank, why has he called you? Something is there. Otherwise, why would you call him? If you're so happy with the rates, if you've got an approval from the bank, we never called him. So there's something. So that's where you play the game, right? So there is a reason behind that call. Either he doesn't have an approval, or there is something that he doesn't like about that approval, or he's trying to see if he can give him a better price. These are the three common reasons I think that might be underlying, yeah? Did I answer the question?
Yeah.
I want you to be satisfied that I've helped you here, because otherwise it's just telling you triple F and go or whatever.
Definitely.
A lot of the time I find with this one customer, Sean, and I were dealing with Thomas Harden, and he came and was hustling us for prices. We sold our product, and we said, you know what, fuck him. If he wants to go to the bank, he can go to the bank. 2 weeks later, he's calling, begging to come back to us, because he knows he can't go to the bank.
That came down to, well, why are you calling us?
Yeah.
So we knew he was trying to play the bluff. We called his bluff.
We
And
actually
it was
didn't want him to call us anymore. It's annoying, but he called us because the bank wouldn't touch it.
well, we knew that he couldn't get it from anywhere else.
Exactly.
And he's just bluffing because
Always keep
there's
that
no
in
other
mind,
reason why
guys.
he'd be calling us.
Keep that in mind. If they have such a beautiful approval in their hand, they won't be calling you. Right? So keep that, play that card. That's your trump card. But don't use it, because remember, we have to empathize, we have to listen, we have all these great godly saints sitting behind phones. Yep. One of the other objections which Sui asked me to reiterate again this session. Okay? Does anyone have any other meeting at 2:10? Until nothing? If I go 5-10 minutes, is that alright? Yeah? Is everyone fine with that?
Yeah.
Remember, we want to walk out of this room ready. How did it move? What's the thing? Upfront payment. Upfront payment. Do you get that as an objection?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Man, I'm ringing you for finance, what do I want to pay you for?
Sometimes if it's a bigger deal and if it's like a 30%, like I had one yesterday.
Is that for new business?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Small ones, it's alright.
Right. And for new business, right? Do you think it's fair to take upfront payment for new business?
Yeah.
From a business point of view.
And personally, if you were running a business,
No, I'll be upset.
No, no.
Honestly, as a customer, if I went to a company and then, like, you know, for instance, my one, I had 165, they need to pay 49 grand up front. No, they're going to get 49,000 from. The lease is probably cheaper than that.
Then what does that have to be in the business for?
No, no, but still, just saying, like, I'm emphasising as a customer.
I think it's fair. I think as a business owner, if you don't have capital
that's
to
it.
invest in the business, then you shouldn't be opening up the business anyway.
Which is how
No money.
Flexi looks at it. If I'm opening a business, I'm the customer, Flexi one, we are providing unsecured finance, right? We don't have any hookups. If that guy goes under, the girl goes under, the company goes under,
Yeah, we've got nothing.
nothing. We just have to go scratch the bloody whatever things on the floor, get it back. It's nothing, right? So even then, we actually give so many people existing business without upfront payment, finance, right? But the new business, we need to have some understanding. Credit needs to understand policy. I mean, the risk has taken this position to say, you know what? If they're opening a new business, they need to put some skin in the game. Okay? As a business owner, as someone just rightly mentioned, you should have some money to put into a business. Otherwise, imagine if I gave you everything for free, you wouldn't look after the business as well, because you know you haven't put any money of yours. You got everything for free. You know that, you know what, nothing's going to happen to me if I don't pay. Easier to walk away. But if you put money into it, you're always going to think twice. It's the same thing with everyone, right? We all, if you're putting some money in, we just feel that extra thing. Someone gave me free money. Oh yeah, even if I just run away tomorrow, it's not going to hurt because I never put any money into that business. Which is why we ask for upfront payment. You got to make the customer understand that as well. Mr. Customer, let me make it very clear. This is an unsecured finance agreement, unsecured finance arrangement. Naturally, you're a new business. We don't have any history that shows us how this, how you've done in business. This is the first time you're entering business. In fact, you should consider this as a blessing that Flexi is helping you get into business. Right? Your bank is not going to do it. Flexi is doing it for you so that we can help you achieve your dream. Empathize. Tell them, I want to help you. We really want to help you. And they feel that, that's true. How can I ask for 100% finance and I don't have any money? How am I going to run this business? That's all it is.
If they can't afford the upfront payment, then they're going to default in their payments anyway.
That's it.
They're
You need to
going
have money.
customer.
Correct. So I don't think it's a very huge objection. Shouldn't be an objection. That's an objection that you can actually just.
Yeah, that's the issue.
We should be able to handle that very clearly by feeling. Just say, I know where you're coming from, but let me. And lots of people have actually mentioned that. But these are the reasons why we need to take it.
I think with that, with new business applications, well, I try to set that expectation
Right at the beginning.
right at the beginning.
Good.
Yeah, that's what
So
I
that's
do.
one thing you do right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's easier process because if you tell them maximum is 30%, you go, oh, you know what, we got a great outcome, it's only 15%, and then say, it's going to reduce your interest by the end anyway because you're not financing the whole lot.
That's it.
Just
That
so
takes
they
me to a
know.
sentence. Never overpromise and underdeliver. It is actually better to underpromise and overdeliver. By
That's
that
why I
one
always
mean,
say 30, and then I know
That's
it's going
it.
to come
So
back
say-
less. Yeah.
Mr. Customer, you could be looking up to 30% upfront payment right at the beginning, and it comes to 20%, bang, you've got that customer on your side.
Like, I had a good example yesterday. A customer got approved, 62k, 30% upfront payment. Okay, the broker questioned me, said, "Well, can't you drop it to 20%?" I said no, and the way I countered that is, they've got a default, a new business, and they're not asset backed, and they just shut their mouth. They couldn't say anything. And actually, thank you for getting this approved. They came back to me
That's
after.
it.
They can't do anything.
Correct. I mean, sometimes we got to go outside of scripting and then talk like human beings and individuals. Help the other person understand. Remember, they're also just individuals just like us. They're just human beings on the other side. They're not something different to us. Just talk to them normally. These are the reasons why we do it. I'm actually here to help you, Mr. Customer. Always use the word help you, assist you, enable you. I'm here to help you realize your dream. Remember, for these people, you want to inflate their ego a little bit, right? You're going to be so successful And you will remember one day it was Flexi who helped you achieve your dream. Have I ever seen this?
I think
Probably not.
A lot of people, opening up a business is their dream, so they would have put their whole life into it. These people thinking they can just open a business, you know, at a click of a finger, and
That's
expect us to fund their whole new business.
Exactly.
They haven't put enough thought and enough everything into their business, so we
That's
don't
it.
want them.
Correct. And the way you say it is by using a lot of feeling and felt and found and empathy and listening. And if you do all of that right, I'm not saying objections are going to go away. It's easier to face them. It becomes easier to resolve them. Overcome them. And it's easier to talk to your customers. You will never find it hard if you start following some of these. Keep them in your head. Put them on your wall. Just, oh God, let me feel now. You could be in a very bad mood. At least it feels right in front. I came as a customer. So sorry to hear what happened. Whatever.
I think this process will help a lot with, in particular, with people that don't want to provide as much information. They just think it's a low doc loan. Whereas when we have the conversation, we empathize with them first and say, look, but our product, our rates are a little bit better, and just explain the process.
Correct. Understand where they're coming from. You're right,
Yeah.
Sean. It could be, you can use it for many things, right? Feel it. Empathize with them. Agree with them. Then I keep saying this because when we walk out, I don't want people to forget, right? I'm going to come and catch every now and then, sit down, understand what's happening. It's only for your benefit. What do I gain? I gain the satisfaction of you understanding. But I want you to gain the satisfaction of understanding so that you can utilize it. Any questions? Questions? No questions? Okay. This is one part of the selling process. Remember what I said? This is one part. And if ideally I'd like to take them through the whole process of selling, okay, we're just starting from first point to the last point. Because I believe all of you have some selling to do, right? And it's important that we all understand. Selling is not an art. It is a process. And we need to understand as individuals the different factors that make up this process. Okay? It's going to help you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you feel more empowered, you feel better, you know the techniques, how to use it. That's what makes you better. All done? If it's all done, thank you.
Thank you, Steve.